Hey guys, so I'm going to do a quick eye look for you today. If it looks like I already had eye makeup on, that's because I did. I just came home and took it off and had a little bit of time, so I thought that I would do a quick eye tutorial or eye look, whatever. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of soft ochre paint pot, and that's going to go all over my lid, all the way up to my eyebrow. Lately I've been setting my paint pot with a flesh tone color. I don't know if my paint pot is getting old or what. I mean, I have had it for a while, but I feel like my eyeshadow has been sort of skipping on me lately, so I'm just going to go ahead and set it with a little bit of eyeshadow. This is just Blanc Type from MAC. I'm going to be using my Holy Grail palette from Violet Voss, and I'm also going to be using the Dose of Colors Eyedeal Duo in the shade Shell, and I will show you guys that in a minute, and I'll also kind of give you some thoughts on that. If you're friends with me on Instagram, I kind of went off on a little bit of a rant on that, so I'll kind of get into that in a minute. For my first color, I'm going to use this one here. It's called Transition, and I think what I'm going to do is kind of mix Transition and Are You Kidding Me together, and that's going to go right into my crease, and I'm just going to use a fluffy brush. This is a MAC 224. And I had sunglasses on, so you can see the little dents on my nose from my sunglasses. The next color I'm going to use is an old one that I have from Makeup Forever, but this is the color that I'm using. And I thought this was an eyeshadow, and it says blush on the back, but I'm pretty sure that this is an eyeshadow. It says that it's number 162. I don't know. I don't even remember buying this. I've had it so long. But I'm going to use a little bit of this through my crease. And this is a very old 224 brush that I have. It's an old work brush, and we were going to throw it in the garbage, and I was like, you know, that actually looks like something that I could use for my eyes, so I saved it. So I saved it from the trash. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in through my crease here, and I'm going to start at this outer corner and kind of work it into my crease. So I'm just going in and deepening up my crease a little bit. And this is mainly going to stay in this outer corner. And then I'm going to take my regular 224 here, just go in and blend a little bit more. Okay, the next color that I'm going to use is this one here. It's called Wine and Dine, because of course I'm just slightly obsessed with those sort of berry tones. So I'm going to take that on a flat shader brush, and I'm just going to use a MAC 242 for this. And I'm just patting it in. And then I'm going to take my little busted 224 and blend out these edges. And I am actually going to take a little bit on this brush and just go slightly into the crease. Then I'm going to take a little bit up, oops, I just put my nail in that color. I'm going to take a little bit of Teddy Bear, which is this color here. It's a really nice brown with a bit of a red undertone. And I'm just going to put that in the, it's very pigmented too. It's like, in my opinion, I haven't used all the colors in this palette, but it's definitely smoother than Wine and Dine, and I'm not quite sure why. And this is something that I wanted to ask you guys what you thought was, I feel like a lot of eyeshadows that have sort of a red undertone to them, like, not undertone, but like actual reddish colored, sometimes like purpley red eyeshadows, they seem to be gritty. So like that Morphe palette that I have, Morphe, the Jaclyn Hill, that reddish color that's like Wine and Dine here, or like not red, I don't know, like those berry red, winey type colors. A lot of them are gritty. And I don't get that. Like this one is a little bit gritty. The Jaclyn Hill one for sure is gritty. Actually, the one that I got from Suva, that Denaru, is a little bit on the gritty side. Like, I don't get it. Like, what is it about? Is it the dye? I don't understand, because like Teddy Bear is so smooth and it's like really pigmented and buttery, but Wine and Dine is not. So I don't know. Maybe somebody can explain that to me, because I mean, I love those colors, but most of them, and I'm not saying all, but a lot of the ones that I have are a little bit on the gritty side. Now I have a couple of shades from Star Crushed Minerals that aren't gritty like that, but that's a loose pigment. My melt stacks, the reddish tones in those, they're not gritty. They're more on the smooth, buttery side. But again, I don't know. I don't understand it. So if anybody knows, I'm going to tap a little bit of Teddy Bear right out here, because I just want to add a little bit more dark there. And that's just going to go right kind of here into my crease, and then I'm just sort of pulling down slightly. And then I'm going to blend that just out here in the outer corner. If you add too much and you lose that berry tone, you can always go back in and add a little bit more. So, like, you can tap it right over the top here if you start to lose some of that color. Okay, so now I'm going to use this dose of colors. Now, my problem with this, it is very super tiny. I don't know why I thought this was going to be bigger. When I opened the box, I became immediately annoyed. I paid $5 for shipping for this little thing. I can get 4 eyeshadows from Makeup Geek shipped to me for $1.99. So first off, the shipping on this is a ripoff. The amount of product that's in here for the price is a ripoff. This is 0.16 ounces for, you get the primer in the top, so you can see, I mean, I don't even know how much of the primer, like how much, I'm assuming it's like 0.8 and 0.8, but there's not that much in there, okay? And then here's the loose pigment. Now granted, pigments, you don't need much, they last a long time, that's fine. But $25 for this, I mean, you could get a color tattoo and one of those NYX roll-on eyeshadows, excuse me, and it would be similar to how this looks. So, I mean, is it pretty? Yes. Is this one of those must-have products? Absolutely not. Is it something that I would repurchase in the future? Absolutely not. Like, I completely learned my lesson on this. I saw Luster Lux use this, and I don't know, on her hand it just looked like it would be more product. I don't know, and I kind of got excited about it. It is pretty. I mean, it's a beautiful color, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like there are better options out there for a whole lot less money. So this is more or less, in my opinion, one of those sort of, I don't know, I don't want to say luxury items, but like if you just have the extra money and you're just curious about it, then yeah, obviously go for it. But would I recommend it? Not really. So I'm going to apply the primer on top with a Real Techniques brush. I don't even know what this is. I've had this brush for so long. I think it's just a regular sort of eyeshadow brush. And you don't need a lot of this pigment. I've actually used this for the last 3 days in a row because I wanted to kind of get used to how it applies and how much to use and how much, and you know what I mean, like how much is too much. So you don't really need a whole lot of this. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the pigment, which there's the primer, and then you tap the pigment in over the top. So it pretty much stays the same color. It's just a little more intense. So it is really pretty. I just feel like you could definitely find a dupe for this. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go in with my brush here. Sometimes if you go over a little too far with that primer, you have to go back in with a little bit more of your eyeshadow and make sure that there aren't any harsh lines. Okay, so I'm going to apply a little bit of eyeshadow to the lower lash line. I think I'm just going to do like kind of from the outer corner to halfway. I'm going to start with that Makeup Forever color. And what I'm doing is just kind of taking it, let me zoom in, just kind of like going around like this and coming up slightly. Now if you're like me and your eyes are just a little bit, my eyes are starting to become hooded now, the older that I get, so I'm having problems. And I mean, I'm seriously having more issues now with my eyes applying eyeshadow than I was before. Like when I first started making videos, it's been 5.5 years now. But when I first started making videos, I didn't have as much trouble, but obviously I'm aging, and so that's changing. Now I'm going to go into Wine and Dine, and I'm going to apply that right over the top of the Makeup Forever color. And then I'm just going to sort of lightly feather it inward. So I just took a little bit of the primer on that Real Techniques brush, and I'm just applying it from the inner corner and meeting it up with the other eyeshadow colors. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the pigment on the tip of this brush. Alright, so I decided I'm going to skip liner. So I'm just going to go ahead and curl my lashes and add some mascara, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I used a little bit of MAC Soft and Gentle for my inner corner highlight, but I just feel like it's a little too pink. So I'm going to take the more sort of yellow tone in this Wet n Wild palette here. This is the Illuminating palette. And I'm just going to go right over the top. Alright, so that's it for the eyeballs. I hope you guys like this. I really like this palette. I feel like if you can get your hands on this, I know they relaunched it. It's sold out again really fast. But if you can get your hands on it, I do recommend it. I think it's pretty. Apart from this color feeling just a tad bit gritty, the ones that I have used are really nice. And I do like that they have included quite a few transition colors for the crease. Because a lot of times you get palettes and there isn't really a very good, in my opinion, transition color, which is why I always go back to using Saddle from MAC. But I do really, really enjoy this palette quite a bit. I've heard people say that they're not too impressed with this color up here. It's called Ploof. I don't know. I don't really have a problem with it. I don't feel like it's very gritty. Some people have said that they don't feel like it's very, I guess, sort of pigmented, but I don't know if it's sort of meant to be more of like a highlight or something. I don't know, but I think overall the palette is definitely worth the price. These are $42. But if you're into these type of colors, it really is a good palette to have. Okay, so back to Dose of Colors. I'm going to go through my collection and see if I can find shades that are similar to the one in this, and I will come back and show them to you. Okay, so very quickly, and I thought that these colors were going to be similar, and this is so cheap. It's the NYX Roll-On Shimmer Shadow. And so I was going through all my stuff and I was swatching, you probably can't see, but I was swatching a bunch of different eyeshadows, and I didn't use a primer. I just put it directly on my skin, which I will show you guys here in a minute. And I was like, holy cow, this is awesome. And it is a very cheap alternative to this Dose of Colors, okay? So one of the dupes that I found, I don't know if Ulta makes this anymore, but it's an old Ulta pigment called Gleam. and I will show you that in a minute. So I'm not going to put these over a primer. And I may actually have to stand up to show this to you guys. But I'm going to go ahead and swatch the NYX here on my arm. And again, this is without any primer. It's just going straight onto my arm. Okay, and then the dose of colors here. And I guess I'll use my finger. I know it's not always best to use your finger because your finger picks up a lot more product and it looks a little bit more pigmented than it would normally. So maybe I'll just put it on with a brush. I'm just using my flat brush here. And these colors are similar. Are they exact? No, but I think they're pretty close. I mean, they're pretty darn close. That's crazy. And actually the NYX shimmer is a little bit more, like the color shows up a little bit better. That's crazy. Okay, and then I am going to put Gleam next to those also. So actually, I've had to add quite a few layers of this dose of colors to get it to... Alright. Okay, so here they are. It's really hard to get these to show up without a primer. And my light is so bright, and I've tried like different angles to show you guys. But okay, the middle one here, that is the Dose of Colors pigment. This is the NYX Roll-On Shimmer. Look at how, I mean, they're so similar. And then this one is Gleam from Ulta, which, like I said, is an old pigment. So I'm going to try to move my arm around a little bit so you guys can see. But they are so similar. Now what I'm going to do is put a primer on, and then I will show you guys what these look like. Alright you guys, so I just went through my collection to try to find the pink color tattoo that I had. I know that they make it. I used to have it. It's not like overly pink. It's more of like that seashell pink. Very similar to the Dose of Colors primer pink that's in here. So because I don't have that and I don't want to use anything high-end, I'm just going to use the primer that this comes with. And I'm going to put it on my arm. I got shimmer stuff all over me. So I'm just going to do like one little area right here. And I'm blending it out. Like it's not very concentrated. Alright, so there's, don't mind that I had some blood drawn the other day. There's that. Alright, now here's the NYX. And I got a stand for this. Beautiful. Look at that. So that is the Salmon Roll-On Shimmer Shadow from NYX. And then the Dose of Colors is next. And I'm going to use my flat brush here to put this on. You guys see how similar they are? The Dose of Colors is a little bit warmer, I think. Maybe like a little more on the, I don't want to say orange side, but maybe it doesn't have quite as much pink. But you guys get the point. You know that there are alternatives, you know. So, and depending on like what color base you pair it with, you can really make this look a little bit more like that. Here's that, here's the Ulta pigment. That's kind of old. It's called Gleam. And I'm going to try one more. This is another NYX roll-on. It's called Nude. So this one is Nude. And then that's the Dose of Colors there. So Nude, Salmon, Dose of Colors Shell, and then this is the old pigment from Ulta. So yeah, you guys definitely don't have to spend $25 on something like this. You can literally go to Ulta, use your coupons, and get one of the, you know, I have a lot of these. I think they're awesome, and again, I think they look just as good, if not better, in my opinion. I'm actually going to take a little bit of Nude And to be honest with you guys, I feel like they're a little bit, like if shimmer's your thing, I feel like these, the NYX, are just a little bit more on the shimmery side too. This side has nude, and then this side is just shell from Dose of Colors. And I just tapped it in right over the top. Let me see. Let me do this side too so I can even them out now. I don't know. I'd like to be able to give options if I can. I know that I can't always do that. But this is, like I said, I just got a bug up my butt about this. I don't know why. I got really annoyed. And so I was like, this is ridiculous. So nothing against Dose of Colors. This is the first time I've ever used anything from them. And again, it is a nice product, but I just feel like it's a little too pricey for the amount that you get. But to each his own. Am I going to keep it? Heck yeah. Am I going to use it? Of course. You know, but for those of you that maybe it's not in your budget, you have options. So, all right, guys, that's it. I'm done rambling. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you like my look for today. If you can get a hold of the Violet Voss palette, I would recommend it. I think it's awesome. So that's it. I'm going to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye.